moving on. So, just a few things to touch on that I just like before I get into the final section here, because I didn't want to overload you with information in the beginning. There are these things called prana seals. It's just like a stasis seal, but instead of being filled with stasis energy, it is filled with prana energy. A seal made from stasis energy, but has prana energy, and a alchemic sign. The alchemic sign will be an element, of course, an element of nature or something like that. But yeah, using this allows someone to output power and strength without having to use as much prana. So you can do a lot of power and strength from this prana seal, but not put as much prana as it would to do it without a prana seal. Just in case you didn't catch the drift, I will explain it again. Say you have a prana seal. You only put a little bit of energy into it, but it still outputs its full max of power and strength, but you only put a little bit of energy into it. That's something you can do. You can also measure how much energy you want to put it in, and also measure the output too. So yeah, you can measure if you want to put a little bit of energy into it and it comes out a little, or a little bit of strength or a little bit of power. So yeah, you can also, of course, still do prana abilities without a prana seal. It's just prana seals are very helpful because it allows you to do prana abilities without being close to the thing you're trying to manipulate. You can put a prana seal filled with prana energy on a tree, walk away from the tree, and then activate the prana seal, and it will do whatever you want from that far, just as long as the energy is still in there. So, the counterpart to a prana seal is a rune crusher. These are supported with mana. So, this is the thing I was talking about earlier when it comes to creating things with mana and all that. So, basically, the rune crusher is a crystal, a mana crystal that has been turned into a small ball with a alchemic sign on it. And the alchemic sign can be the alchemic sign for light, anything. So how rune crushers work is a little bit different though from prana seals. No matter how much mana you put into it, it will output the full power of what you're trying to do. You can't measure the amount of output that happens. It will always do the full power no matter how much mana you put into it. There you go. That's rune crushers. Quite simple. Oh, forgot one thing. It breaks after one use. Moving on to the final stages here. The last two things I have to say about this long video. So, Aether is this. Aether is a ability that Aether is an ability that sorry for the pause. I was thinking. So Aether is an ability that connects your spirit to, well, Aether. So Aether is just another form of energy that is everywhere, and it's infinite and it never goes away. But the amount of Aether a body can hold is very limited. So Aether is used like this. They just look at someone and do a hand gesture or say a phrase, and from calling into existence or doing a hand gesture to bring it into existence, it comes from the infinite Aether into the physical. You can basically manipulate energy around you that no one else even knows about, and it's extremely powerful. So yeah. And then there's Ether, a power that is created from a soul trait, just like Aether. It's created from a soul trait, And if you're confused about the phrasing of that, the way I said it is this: Ether, Aether, Ether, Aether, Ether. The one I just got done talking about, where it comes into existence wherever you look. When you do a hand gesture. Okay, so then Ether is the opposite of that, the duality of that. It doesn't come in for where you look, and it doesn't come into existence when you do a hand gesture. How ether works is this: it comes from inside the body. Ether is a soul trait, just like I said about the ether. It's like your ability of ether and aether, which ability you will have is based off your soul trait or your energetic path. So yeah, this makes it very hard for me to kind of write ether into stories in some way, in my opinion, because like it's based off the character. So I have to write a very in-depth character in order to really fit the power in there and make it make sense. But sorry for the ramble. So yeah, like I said, ether comes from a soul trait or energetic path. It's already set in stone for who has it. It can be trained to become stronger, though, just like aether. They both can be trained to become stronger. Though the ether ability is directly linked to the avatar, most ether abilities have the ability to come out of their body. That's about all I can say without spoiling the story too much about ether and aether. It sounds a little nuts, but because there's no exact like description, on what type of powers ether and aether gives you, because the powers are directly from the character themselves. And if I tell you anything, it will kind of spoil things. So yeah, I mean, I guess I can give one good. I can give a good example on ether, actually. Something that isn't in a story exactly. And if it pops up in the future. So a good example of aether. Aether is the one that doesn't come out the body, by the way. Aether is the one that you call into existence, and it pops up wherever you're looking. So there's this character named Egress. Egress means to open a door, by the way. Go through or exit a door. Just a little funny thing. So the reason he's named Egress is because his ability allows him to open doors to other dimensions and put people in there. It can be anything he wants. Dimension could be anything he wants. Literally anything he thinks of can come out that dimension, or he can put you in a dimension of his own creation. So that's pretty tight. He can't bring weapons out of there. Like, he can't think up some overpowered weapon and bring a weapon out of it. Though he can put energy into it and maybe, like, I don't know, put a tsunami in that shit and bring out a tsunami, which would be pretty fucking cool. So yeah, it's that. So like I said, it just pops up wherever the person is looking. So say I were to look at to the right, I say Egress gate of opening, and do a hand gesture or something. A big door will pop under him and he would fall through. A good example of ether, the opposite to that, the part, the one that comes out of the body. A good example of that is through this. So there's this character who has a dimension, a void inside of his body. It's kind of like Kamui. It's kind of like Kamui from Naruto, but a little bit different. So how it works is this. He's completely weightless since that void is inside of his body. So he floats without trying sometimes. But that's the effect. There's a lot of different effects from the abilities and stuff like that. A lot of different drawbacks, and we'll get into the drawbacks maybe another video. I don't really care to explain it right now. So yeah, but he has this weightless dimension inside his body will make him float. And how it works is this: so he can open that dimension from his body. So yeah, I don't know what phrase I'm gonna do for him, or he might not even say a phrase because it's ether, so he doesn't really need to say a phrase to call it into existence. He just needs to move the energy around his body. So when he activates it, a part of his arm will maybe turn black because it's a void inside of him. So it'll kind of be like the void inverting to the outside instead of the inside. So the void comes in the outside and his arm is black, and you can pass a sword through that arm and the arm won't come off. The arm is just passing through the void, practically not cutting anything. He can do this with his whole body, though it causes a lot of ether to do. So yeah, there's that. He's pretty sick character. there's a lot of I still gotta think about drawbacks when it comes to that. So yeah, that's why I didn't really want to explain too much about ether when it comes to the examples of powers, because I'm still kind of working on those things. This is just something to talk about. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Quick little video on power systems. Totally not quick at all, I know. Sorry for wasting your time. You have a good fucking day.